Hello, my fellow women entrepreneurs. Hi, my name is Beth Larsen. I am a certified high performance coach, and I specialize in helping women who want more from their lives. And by more, I mean more joy, more success, more passion, more money, and more meaning. So I am super excited to come in today and speak with you all. The other day, somebody had posted in the group asking the question, what do you do when you are stuck? And I loved the question, and there were so many great responses that came up on it. And it really made me want to come in and speak to this topic specifically because it's something that I'm super passionate about. One, because I've been stuck before. I know very well what that feels like. And also because it's a big part of what I work with my clients on. That's usually why they come to me, is because they're stuck in some way, shape, or form. And whether you are stuck in your personal life or you're stuck in your business, what I want to talk and share with you today can apply to any kind of form of stuck. So I hope you will stay with me here and listen and take away some good tidbits here. What I'm going to share with you today is really the energy imbalance that causes you to be stuck and can keep you stuck. Also, why smart goals and strategies will not help if you don't have this first. And I'm going to share with you what this is. I'll also share with you a simple pivot that you can make to open back up to a flood of new ideas and get the energy moving so that you can get unstuck. And then also the mind-body connection and how you can use that to your advantage if you are stuck. So before I go any further, I just want to share with you a little bit about myself and why I can speak to this topic. So I am an entrepreneur like the rest of you. I've been an entrepreneur now since 2013. When I started my coaching practice. But prior to that, I spent over 20 years working in a more traditional role. I was actually in the retail industry, and I managed stores, I managed districts, regions, I was a VP of sales. I was responsible for over 880 million in volume and managed thousands of employees. And I don't say that to brag by any means, but I'm saying that to share with you that I know all about strategies, plans, executing things, getting things done, and making things happen. And I know all about that part of it. I also know that all of that can actually lead to burnout. And I know that from firsthand because I had burnout. And that was part of what created my stuckness. So I just want to say hi. I see some people jumping in, and thank you so much for joining me. So again, I know all about that strategy and planning piece, and it's actually what brings me to this topic of energy, because this part might seem a little counterintuitive, but it's a really important piece if you are stuck. You've got to step back and take a look at how you're using your energy. And by energy, I don't just mean like your physical energy. I mean specifically your masculine and your feminine energy. Now, when I first heard this topic of masculine and feminine energy, I kind of didn't get it at first because, for me, I had been working in a very feminine environment, and I thought feminine was just that, like being a female. And I didn't realize how this pertained to the topic of energy. So I'm speaking specifically about the masculine and feminine energy and how you use it to accomplish things in your life. So from the masculine energy, your masculine energy is your more logical side, it's your thinking, it's your action orientation, it's the doing, it's the making things happen, it's executing, it's also protecting, it's being the protector, the provider. That's the energy that you're tapping into when you're using that type of energy. Your feminine energy, though, is your more intuitive, you're creative, it's insightful, it's nonlinear, it's more emotional, it's feeling. Those are two different types of energy. And it's not just right brain and left brain. There is a brain component to it where your right brain, you're more in the masculine, you're more the thinking and strategizing versus the more creative left brain. There's the brain side of it, but it's actually an energy as well. It's an energy that you're giving out. And when you're giving out this energy, your this energy is permeating everything you're doing. So the reason why I talk about this is because if you are really heavy in one energy and you've shut down the other kind of energy, it's likely that you're going to end up stuck. And it can be on either side. So if you're super heavy in your masculine energy and you're constantly doing and trying to force things to happen and trying to come up with the solutions and the ideas and the strategies, and you just aren't getting anywhere, it's probably because you shut down your feminine energy and you're lacking the creativity and the ideas. On the flip side, if you're super heavy in the feminine energy, where you are all into the creative and you have all these great ideas and all of these things that you want to get done, but you shut down your masculine energy, nothing's happening because you're not taking action. So you got all these great ideas, but nothing's moving forward. So that's what it can look like if you're, I don't want to say out of balance, because it's not about being perfectly balanced in masculine and feminine. It's not about a balance. It's about knowing when to flow from one energy to the next. It's about knowing when you need to be using your feminine energy versus when you need to be using your masculine energy, and how to flow from one into the next. So again, it's not a perfect balance. You're not striving for perfect balance. You're striving for knowing when you can tap into which energy and how you can use it to the best of your advantage, or best of your ability to your advantage. So again, if you are stuck, take a look at, am I really heavy in my masculine energy right now, and how am I shutting down my feminine energy? Or am I really heavy in my feminine energy, and how have I shut down my masculine energy? Where do I need to tap into which energy? So that's one thing. I mentioned, oh, hey, Nady, how are you? I didn't know you were in this group, so good to see you. So I mentioned that I wanted to also talk then about why SMART goals and strategies won't help if you don't have this first. So this is very pertinent to this topic. So again, as I mentioned before, you can have all of the strategies, you can be forcing things to happen, you could be making things happen. And SMART goals are often a way that we do that. So we create these SMART goals. If you're not familiar with the analogy of SMART, it's specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time-bound. There's a couple variations to that. I think I've heard achievable instead of actionable, or relative instead of realistic, but that's the basic gist of what a SMART goal is. If you've ever worked in a corporate environment, you're probably very familiar with SMART goals. But SMART goals basically take the big ideas and they break it down into manageable, achievable things that you can work towards. So SMART goals are great. They are fantastic, and they're smart for a reason, because they work. But the problem, and again, this is if you are stuck, it may be that you have gone straight to SMART goals. You're working on the goal, you're working away, you're making things happen, but you're stuck because you're missing a bigger, more foundational piece. And this is something that was really relevant for me. I realized I was very stuck in all my SMART goals, and I see it all the time with clients too. This is one of the first things that we work on is, aside from having your SMART goals, what's the bigger picture? Like, let's step back and look at what's the bigger picture that we're trying to accomplish here. What's the big vision, and what's the big dream specifically? And I like to specifically get clients involved in what I call a juicy dream. And that's also an acronym, but it's a very specific acronym, and it's not just a fun acronym. There's specific things that you need to have, specific elements that you need to have in a juicy dream that will prevent you from getting stuck, or that you can anchor into if you start to get stuck. So let me share what a juicy dream is all about. First off, a juicy dream is something that is joy-driven. So the J stands for joy. So if you are stuck, you're probably not having much joy. You're probably not having much fun. You're probably in that slogging away place, or you're frustrated, right? So you have to step back and ask yourself, what's my big juicy dream? And what am I doing that's making this fun? How am I having fun? How am I bringing joy to this process? So it's got to be joy driven. Now the U, this is super important. The U stands for, hi Constance, how are you? The U stands for unrealistic, unreasonable, and unbelievable. That is super important for a juicy dream. And this is going to be really important for helping you if you are stuck. The reason why is because it requires you to tap into your imagination. It requires you to go to that place that is in that realm of unbelievability. And that's where the best ideas come from, are in the imagination. If you look at it, none of the biggest advances in technology or in our world today, none of the biggest inventions were believable when they were first just a figment of somebody's imagination. And this is the same thing. Your imagination is one of the most important faculties that you have, and yet it's one of the things that we tend to shut down and cut off, is our imagination. So take your step back if you're stuck and get back into the juicy dream and go into your imagination. Go into that realm of the unbelievable so that you can start to get your creative juices flowing. This gets the feminine energy going. It gets you into that creative energy. Okay, the next part of the juicy dream is I. So that stands for inspired and inspiring. Now, the definition of the word inspire means to breathe life into. So a juicy dream is inspired and inspiring. It's something that breathes life into you. It makes you come alive. It makes you want to push through, and actually it makes you want to keep going even when you do feel stuck. It gives you something to move forward to. So it's something that breathes life into you, but it's also something that requires that you breathe life into it. So that means that you have to actually take action to move it forward. So that's why the inspired piece is so important, because again, if you're stuck, you go back up into your feminine energy to receive the ideas, receive the creativity and the solutions, but then you also have to go into your masculine energy to create it, to bring it to life, to get back into action. So again, if you're stuck, you could be really heavy in your masculine energy trying to force things to happen, or you could be really heavy in your feminine energy just waiting around for things to happen. And in both cases, nothing's happening. You're not moving forward. So if you have this bigger juicy dream that you are working towards, you tap back into both of those energies to start moving the goals forward. A juicy dream then is also colorful. Now again, this is what I mean by this is it involves all of your senses. So a juicy dream is something that requires that you go into your body and get out of just the head. So you could describe your juicy dream by how it tastes, how it feels, how it smells, how it sounds, what it looks like. You can literally go into all of your different senses to describe it. And by doing so, you're getting out of the head, the masculine energy, and you're getting back into your feminine energy, into the body to actually wake up your different senses. When you do this, you're actually stimulating that energy in your body, and you're stimulating different parts of your brain. So that's really important, because if we've shut down some of our senses, we're also shutting down part of our brain, which is going to help us create new solutions. So by being able to describe a juicy dream using all of your senses, it's not just a fun exercise. It's something that's actually waking up both the energy in your body and also turning on different parts of your brain that'll help you get unstuck. So try that exercise. Go back and really wake up all of the different senses. And then finally, a juicy dream starts from your yearnings. It starts from your desires. So it requires that you go back and really see what is really calling me forward. What are those little nudges and those little yearnings inside of me that are calling me forward, that are moving me forward? When you can go back to that, again, you start to wake up some of that energy, and it'll help you get unstuck and help you move forward. So I'm going to just take a drink here. And if anybody has any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I think I can see here. Hope I'm doing that right. Okay, also, I wanted to talk about a simple pivot that you can make to help open up to a flood of ideas. So if you have been stuck, this is an exercise that I use all the time, and this is pivoting from worry to wonder. So usually when we're stuck, we get into this place of frustration, into aggravation. It starts to, if we're heavy in the masculine energy, trying to force things to happen, then it's actually going to lead to burnout. If you're heavy in the feminine energy and just stuck in that creativity but not making anything happen, that's also going to, it's almost a depressive energy that starts to set in because there's that frustration. And what happens ultimately is then it starts a cycle of worry. Like, you start to go into this place of, what if I never have another good idea again? Or why can't I make this happen? And then it dovetails into all of these things that could happen if you stay stuck. So if I never figure this out, what's going to happen am I going to be able to pay the bills? What's going to happen to my family? It starts to go into all this worry. So what happens is we keep asking all these questions in our head, and your brain is designed to go searching for the solutions to the questions that you ask. So even when you're asking these rhetorical questions or these questions that you don't recognize that you're actually asking questions, your brain's actually searching for the solutions or to the answers to those questions, and you're just validating the problems all over and over again. So if you can move, though, from a place of worry and into a place of wonder, you will actually start to open up and start to help yourself get unstuck. So why this works is because you move from asking questions that aren't supporting you to asking questions in a more feminine energy that actually opens you up to, that opens you up to curiosity. And curiosity is actually a superpower. When you can become more curious, it gets you out of judgment. And that judgment is what will keep you stuck. So when you start judging yourself, you start judging your situation, you start judging the stuckness, you stay stuck. It just cycles into being more and more stuck. It's like you're grounding into it. If you can get into curiosity, then you release the stuckness, you release the judgment, and you start to come up with solutions. So you try using the question, I wonder. I wonder what the solution to this problem could be. I wonder if I tried this, what might be the outcome. I wonder how I might approach this in a way that is easier. I wonder how this could be easier. So you start to ask these questions that, again, open you up, and it gets your brain, it's actually tricking your brain to start to go looking for the solutions to the questions that you're asking. But you're asking questions that you really want the answers to, instead of those other questions that are actually just going to keep you stuck. So that's my little tip there on how you can use the power of curiosity and pivot out of worry and into wonder. So try that next. And I also included in the notes here, I included a link to a free gift for you that are actually 90 days worth of journal prompts. They're just questions every day that are designed to actually help you go into a more curious state. You can use these one by one every single day, or you can use them randomly. I use them randomly. I just kind of go through and I just pick a page out every day, and whatever the question is that day, it never fails, happens to be something that helps me go into a place of more curiosity and go into a place that opens me up so that I'm not stuck. So, okay, let's see. I also wanted to talk about the mind-body connection. So if you're stuck, one of the most powerful things that you can do is actually get up and move your body, and like literally move it. So when we are stuck, our body physiologically will show that we're stuck. So when you're stuck, you tend to get, hunched over, you'll get worry all over your face, you get contracted. And when you're stuck, it actually feels like contraction in your body. And there's a reason for that. We as human beings are designed for growth. We are actually meant to be constantly growing, constantly expanding, and moving forward. That's actually the natural state that we are meant to be in. Same thing, just like the universe is meant to be constantly growing and expanding, and is growing and expanding. Same thing for us. So that's our natural state. And that expansion feels big, like you feel like you're expanding. You can feel it. Your body represents it. You're open and you're expansive. So when you're not expanding and growing, you are contracting, you're tightening up, and that happens energetically and it happens physically. But your mind, your body, and your spirit are all connected. So if you are finding yourself stuck, from mentally stuck, emotionally stuck, you can use your physiology to help switch you out of that. So get up and move around, and actually go out for a walk, get out into nature, expand yourself back up, get yourself out of the problem and move yourself. You can also like literally shake your body and move around, dance, Zumba, whatever you can do some yoga to stretch and open up your body so that you get out of your head and you get down into your body. And as you start to expand and start to open up, you'll start to get unstuck. Sometimes it happens just like that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that to happen, especially if you've been used to being really contracted and really, you feel it in all of your body and you're feeling like you feel sick almost. Then you need to get that flow of energy moving throughout your body again. But I guarantee you, if you start to make this bigger part of your practice, use your body to help you get unstuck. Don't just stay in the head, because that's not going to help you. It's going to keep you in that stuck state. So I hope that this has been helpful. I hope there have been a few tips here that will help you if you're in that stuck place. I can't tell. Yeah, I can't tell right now if there's any other questions, but if you do have questions, I'll be following the thread to see. I'm happy to answer anything for you. Again, there's a link to the free gift. Those are 90 days worth of journal prompts, just questions to help you get unstuck, to help you move out of worry and into that more curious wonder space. And if you're still feeling stuck, you can certainly message me and apply for a No More Stuck strategy session, where we can take a look at what's causing you specifically to be stuck and what you can do to get yourself out of that mode. Again, I've been there myself. I understand what it feels like. And we've all been stuck at some point in time. It's normal. It happens. I know how icky it can feel when you have that stuck feeling, but I also know how to get out of it and how freeing it feels once you start moving forward again. So I'd love your comments. I'd love any ideas that you have. Additionally, for things that help you to get unstuck, feel free to put those down in the comments as well, and message me if you have any questions. All right, I wish all of my fellow entrepreneurs out there a wonderful, free-flowing, forward-flowing day.